Almost ready to go then for the final round of the TTDI Club Enduro Championship for 2024, and the grid is going to line up as follows, although there is one car that is missing sadly from the front row. It's Scott Parkin, number 1, on his own on the front row of the grid. The 117 car that was due to be started by Ian Jones, the BMW Compact, sadly not there. Did have some dramas in qualifying. Second row of the grid, number 25 Darren Ball, and number 15 is Colin Gillespie. Third row of the grid is number 6, that's started by Dylan Brichter today, and the treble 4 car started by Claire Norman.
Scott Parkin, the Class A champion, will go from the front. He wasn't that much faster than the likes of Darren Ball and Colin Gillespie in qualifying, and obviously being a 2-hour race, this has got lots more involved than outright pace. And as well as watching for the class battles, Ian, we have the Clubman Cup, sort of almost like a subdivision within the classes to look forward to for the older cars, the pre-2010 cars without sequential gearboxes.
It's a 2-hour race, we've got plenty of time to talk about it. We've got 34 cars now on the grid for this final race of the season. It's a 2-hour race. There is one pit stop that has to be served. It's a 3-minute mandatory pit stop that they have to serve in Club Enduro, and that will not happen immediately. There's a bit more before but of course we've got cars making their way out of the final corner. Red lights go out, the race gets underway, and it's Scott Parkin then in the lead and trying to make up ground. To his left hand side is Colin Gillespie. Of course he's got that gap where the BMW should have been, but he's not made full benefit from that. He's been a bit slow through the next corner there, and that's allowed Darren Ball to slot through in second place. Gillespie is in third, and is that the car of
Simon Major,
Simon Major, isn't it? Yeah, in fourth position as they make their way through the old hairpin for the first time. So this TTDI Club Enduro Championship race is underway.
Right, side by side in B between the Ginetta and the Honda of Tim Marsh and William Puttigill. They were side by side. Puttigill, one of the 3 championship contenders in the Clubman Cup, and they got pole in that this morning, which he specifically shared with Chris Nyland up at the top of the hill. They're still side by side, those 2 B class leaders, so that's a good battle. But Scott Parkin's getting away from the TCR cars behind Paul and Gillespie, the Cupra and the Volkswagen. Then in 4th position is Major, who made a really good start from row 4, and then in 5th position is Dylan Brichter. Then in the Audi, fighting though to try and get through. Then you've got the Browse car, that's also made a good start. Luke Browse at the wheel of that one. Claire Norman is up next. Then Paul Simerson in the Century Motorsport GT4 BMW, and then the rest. They come over the brown. And there's a Ginetta. Where's William Puttigill got to in all of this? The Clubman Cup pole sitting Honda is no longer behind the Ginetta. It's lost a couple of spots in the overall order to other Class B cars. A very good start from Mark Grice, who gained 5 places on that lap, and he is second in Class B already on his return to Club Enduro. He only qualified 7th in the class, so all those 5 positions gained are all for class. So great start from Mark Grice. Yeah,
I did think that he might move forward from there. Seems to be a little bit further back than I might have expected. 2 Mark 3 MX-5s going wheel to wheel there. That was James Mansell and Thomas Stedman. They were battling for their private positions within their class. Half an hour is when the pit lane window is, by the way. Half an hour of this race, and the closest 15 minutes before the end. 1 3 to be served by all teams with around 1 or 2 driver efforts. And the top 3 are all single drivers, aren't they? At the moment, Scott Parkin, Darren Ball and Colin Gillespie. Simon Major, first of the 2 driver teams, showing just a bit to the Brichter with Warren Parkin in place.
3 abreast here, headed down past the old exhibition centre. I think that's Matthew Hampson at the head of it. Jamie Hadley's invitation on golf is in there as well. This is about something like 10th position in the race. You've got the BMW M2 of Rob Fennick. One car in the pit lane already is the debutant Clint Wright, his Toyota. see if we can get him back out into the race. David Blackie's made a good start. He's joining in on this battle as well in the BMW E92 M3.
So there's that invitation class car of John Hadley, the Golf. So a good number of BMWs in this race as well. There's one for the pit lane. Who is that is going into pits? It's the Will Beach car. The Will Beach car, number 82, has gone into the pit lane. Early problem, this is not a mandatory stop because we're 26 minutes away from the pit lane window being opened.
Will Beach, I think that's the problem in qualifying. The car seems to be running well most of the time. There's a mechanical flag for Colin Gillespie, the car in third position.
I did see some sort of fluid or something leaking from that car as it went up to McLean's on, I think, the first lap. So whether that's also what the observers trackside have spotted, I'm not quite sure. This is a good little scrap, isn't it? Involving the number 10 car, Rob Fennick, also that David Blackie, E92 M3 as well. Into the pits, one of the Class C front runners as well, and straight into the garage that car's got. That's the car that was started by Jonathan Hayes, I think. 66 car.
Shame for Johnny Hayes. That car finished second in the Class C Championship in 2022.
They're looking to retain that second place, or regain that second place this season, behind the Paul Concrete Moore and Dennis duo.
They might still do that, particularly if they get out and complete 50%. That might be the aim in all of this. Also involved in this battle was another M3, the Lynches. Did we get a stop drive for 176?
I only got one driver, which was William Lynch, on the time.
1:39.37 for Scott Parkin, and that is a new lap record. Chris Boardman's previous best of 39.75, 4 tenths of a second underneath the previous lap record in the TTDI Club Enduro Championship.
Make their way out of Goddard's, another lap completed then, 1:54 to go. Scott Parkin leading by 2.25 seconds on Darren Ball. That's been third. Watching these sort of trio of BMWs coming down the trailer curves towards us, including the 176 car in all of this. That being the William Lynch M3 for the driver from Midhurst. He's in 13th position at the moment. Just up ahead is the car started by Matthew Hampson, the M2, which Andy Schultz will take over later on in the race. And just behind, the Class B leader, which is the Ginetta, started by Matthew Tidmarsh, the coloured car. Just trying to get in amongst these BMWs now.
It's tiny amongst, especially that E92, which is massive. But David Blackie's got to the front of that group, so that's a good effort. And the Genetta's trying to go around the outside. I'm not sure if William Lynch realised that Matthew Tidmarsh was there. Of course, Tidmarsh and Webster are the provisional champions in B, so great season they've had in the Ginetta. They've had a couple of class wins. They hadn't had a class win before this year. Not that far ahead of the Mark Grice and William Puttergill battle for the Clubman Cup lead. Ideally, if Puttergill and Nyland want to win the Clubman Cup title, winning the race is the best way about going at it. A non-championship rival, Mark Grice, had taken the lead of that though in the early laps of this. They're all involved in that Class B lead battle with Matthew Tidmarsh just up the road. The other Clubman Cup Championship contenders, got one at the back of the screen there, is 119, the Sandro Ballesteros from Beach Country, Audi, and then the third car in contention is actually the championship leader coming into this in the Clubman Cup, and that's the overall provisional champion, Sam Dennis. But they are a Class C car, so won't have the outright pace, but they've been reliable and consistent over the year, and that is what has put them in championship contention this year. Gillespie came into the pits here off that mechanical flag.
Yeah, he did. Actually, she's got Class C that record as well. That's been down to 148, that's been taken away from Richard Reddy. So you're on board with Scott Parker, he's got a clear track in front of him in the Audi TT, the Darkside development, front car. Here he goes. Back up towards Goddard, third gear, now up to fourth gear. for him down to third again through there, and down the corner will accelerate up through the gears, fourth gear, up to fifth as he goes sort of past the pits and into Redgate corner. Back down again for Redgate. He's going to start some laps shortly. He's got that little Caterham Academy car up ahead of him. A little while since we've had a Caterham in the ECU Enduro Championship. So it's about to go a lap down, I think.
Parkin going away up front, 6 seconds ahead, but he needs to do that because he has got a 30-second success compensation time to enter his pit stop for winning the previous race at Oldham Park. He's got Parkin, who's had 3 wins this year, which the other one has come at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit and at Snetterton, 6 seconds ahead of Darren Ball. He's also lapped 30 M3, which is good to have out there against Senna Osman in the wheel. To start off with. So Paul second, third is Simon Major, fourth is Dylan Brichter, fifth for Luke Rowles, Paul Siverson's up the sixth, Matthew Stockford is eighth, Claire Norman, eighth rather, seventh for Stockford, the ex-Paralympian, ninth is Jamie Hadley and Rob Fennick, leads the top 10 after the first 5 laps of racing. Gillespie, I think, back out onto the circuit after the incident.
Yes, that's unfortunate for him. He'll have been delayed by that. And see what he can do from there. As I expect to see him climb back through the order.
In the background, the 2 Club and Cup leaders are nose to tail. The Grice and Puttergill battle there, just heading down the back straight towards the Essex. That is a really close race in the early stages. There's a Caterham. There's Jim Parsons. That's the wheel of the front organiser. Started that. Here's Stockford and Norman, they're involved in a good battle. Matthew Stockford in the Audi, Claire Norman in the Cupra, the 43-year-old from Cheltenham who started racing 20 years ago in the Road Slough series before racing the Volkswagen Racing Cup. Racing Historics as well. But let's have a look at this Clubman Cup battle, just going out to the final corner. 27, Mark Grice, head of Championship contender 83. Will Puttergill, but gap back to the next car in that championship battle. Sandro Ballesteros there in 119, the 17-year-old from Greater Manchester who raced in the Junior Slew Car Championship before racing the 116 trophy. But there is the Clubman Cup leader at this stage, 27, Mark Grice, who's been a race winner in this championship before, and there is Will Puttergill, comes in third in points, but with a chance to take that Clubman Cup Championship. Will Puttergill, the 41-year-old from Nottingham, so at his local circuit today, the ex-Time Bar Trophy racer in a K24 powered Honda Civic. Keen to take this lead of the class away, I think, from Mark Grice at this stage here.
Yeah, certainly looks like it. It's a good little scrap this for 15th and 16th position overall, and they are going to get alongside one another down the straight. Over the crest they go. But it looks like it is going to be Grice in the 27 car, but continues to hold on for the moment from number 83, the skill. Honda Asset Management over into Honda Civic Type R. So these two, second and third in Class B, behind Marshall. Club and Cup, but now wide has gone. Mark Grice has conceded the lead of the Club and Cup away to Will Puttergill there.
That's right, that's where Puttergill wants the race to the position he wants to end in 107 minutes time. There's not to happen before then. You see the heat there in the brake pads of Mark Grice. That was a great shot there of the Goddard, and that's maybe why he outbraked himself at Melbourne. Already the front brakes on the Audi TT starting to get up to temperature. I wonder if that's the car that Grice is racing in the short distance races, and this is very different, of course, having to go for a long time. Let's be recovering. There is Ballesteros, though, who is one of the 3 contenders for that Club Cup title. He's just done a PB at 146.6 for Ballesteros. But frustration for Gillespie, particularly if it wasn't a particular problem, if it was an overfill or just an early moment of smoke that's not going to come to anything, and if that's lost them a minute or so, hasn't it? Gillespie might be able to come back from that in that Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah, down to 17. Went as a result of that one, back to 17th as got, so he's ahead, getting ahead of Ballesteros. So, we've got the TT turning its way down into Portugal. There's on new Dublin Cup leader, Will Portugal, now quite an advantage over Margaret.
Of course, the Ballesteros programme, that was announced on the BBC website, wasn't it?
Yes.
At the beginning of the season, with Bobby Trundley racing, the pair racing for the Racing with Horses and UK team. Those two inspirational youngsters that are really quick drivers. The pair of them, Trundley has been a class member of British GT in the past, he will get in for the second part. Got a couple of FN2 Civics here, battling over second in Class C. Matthew Stenning in 16 is ahead of Ethan Simmons in 9th. I think he's making his Club Enduro debut today. He's raced in road sports previously. Still a teenager. In 9th, there he is. Good to have a couple of these later model Civics out. Waving them out. But good to see the cars. I was waving Scott Parkin through, wasn't he? But if he can do that every time he looks at that, I'll have a sore hand right there.
Yeah, Scott Parkin has now put a lap on that car.
A Parkin wave back, so that was good to see.
In 26th position is Ethan Simmons, so now laps everyone up to 25th. We'll soon lap everyone up to 24th as well, I think.
Yes, this won't be like one of the straight from every lots of cars at the end.
So that's the 183 car that's now been lapped as well. The Stephen Volkswagen Scirocco. Stephen bought that first day. First yesterday, Motorsport.
Had a change for second. Simon Major, who started down in 8th, had a good first stint. He's up into second. Both he and Dylan Brichter got past Darren Ball. So Darren Ball, who was second, has dropped to 4th. They are 11 seconds now, though, behind Scott Parkin, who's absolutely flying in his Audi.
Off goes Ethan Simmons. Got back onto the circuit in the number 9 car. Yes, it was a long lap that first of all, wasn't it? Into the 143s. He had the 140s. Two got past him both in the 141. So it was a problem of subscription for Darren Ball that time. So there he is now. Whether it's a problem with the car, he just made a mistake, a small mistake that allowed the next 2 through. Not quite sure. We'll get an idea soon of the next lap time that they come through.
So yeah, Major, who's certainly in a new livery since I saw him go well at Snetterton earlier in the season. He was delivering a new car. There in second place in the Cupra. He's had a decent season with Justin Middleton as his co-driver. They had a road sports win, they've had a podium at Snetterton as well. But being chased all the way by Dylan Brichter in the diesel-powered Darkside Developments Audi TT 2016 car, GC 310 brake horsepower. Slightly less power than twin brother Scott's car has, and twin brothers Brian Scott Parkin leads the way. Slightly less powered car. But they come up with like Darren Ball is falling away here, isn't he, with this battle?
Yeah, that was back into 141s, so not quite as slow as the previous lap, but it nevertheless fell away from it.
Right, and just lapping the battle further back. Ballesteros in the pit lane. 119, Club Cup Championship contender in the pit, so this is before the pit window opens. So what has gone wrong, and not very much is happening, so this could be the end of the championship challenge, I think.
Yeah, well, it's open, but a bit of a mystery as to what they're doing. They've got the torch on there, trying to look for something further down, so there's something that's been rattling around in there, or something like that. See what they can do here. This 12 minutes or so before the pit lane window opens, the driver getting out of the car.
So all signs are not good here, I'm afraid. So the first of our 3 Club Cup Championship contenders falling, and this is good news for Motion Motorsport because the 2 cars left are both from that squad.
Yes, the squad that had a few cars across several categories as well.
I noticed them some Hondas in their squad now as well. I think the other teams are seeing a good job that Motorsport are doing and are asking them to either prepare their cars or perhaps run them on race weekends. So, a team that's fairly new to the scene as well, aren't they? And they're growing all the time. But a second continues.
Yeah, and this battle is how far behind the leader? 12 seconds behind the leader. It's got Parkins, Major, and Parkins, the two cars that were here, Club 18 and 6. There's just over a second between the two of them now. They've got 3.5 second gap right now to Darren Ball, who's in 4th position. Just getting away a little bit now in second place. It's just from Dylan Richter, the Diesel and TT. Out of the old hairpin, we go towards McLean's. Blue flags wave, there'll be plenty of that in this race, I'm sure. Traffic's been negotiated. 119 car, yes, it is retiring to the garage by the sounds of it, the Paul Dallas car. Looks like it's out there. So you can see Sandro out of his car. His overalls untied to the waist. And, I think either disappointed that his race is over or on the hunt for something that's going to get them back out into the race. But, looks like it is a retirement for Sandro and Bobby, unfortunately.
Max on the scene, I'm sure we'll get the news soon when we get relays. Did we... No, we did see Will Putchfield get past Mark Grice run wide, wasn't it? So that's how the Cup lead changed.
Just looking as well as for Class B, it is the gap came down that time between Tidmarsh and Putchfield. So it was 148.9 for Tidmarsh, 146.1 for Putchfield. So the gap down to 3.5 seconds between them.
This is a bad garage to be in with Johnny Hayes' car that was retired right at the start, it seems. He's also in those two retirements in one garage. See Claire Norman's just done a personal best at 142.9. She's passed Matthew Stockford lately. Here's our Class B leader and our provisional champion, the Ginetta G40, the ex-Rothgo car. With Matthew Tidmarsh at the wheel, with Webster has been his co-driver all year. They've had 2 wins, a second and a 6th in Class B this season. The Golf livery, as you'd expect. 2.5 litre Duratec engine power in that car, so not in any sort of Ginetta specification. It's built especially for the Tiguan Club Enduro Championship. It's been developed over the last few years, and this year it's become really good. It's really fast, it's set lap records at various venues, and now a provisional class championship to go with it. And a battle of second in the overall championship with Scott Parkin, I think, Ian, this weekend. Between these two, they were separated by just a point coming here to Donington Park.
Yeah, that's right. It's a gearbox failure on the 119 car, we understand, the Sandra Boysdale's car.
And in from 11 for another unscheduled stop. This is Rob Fennings, BMW M2. The pit lane is a busier place than it should be at this stage of the race. So it's a shame there for Rob Fennings, 45-year-old from Buckinghamshire. In his 4th season of racing, he finished 2nd in Class C last year. He's upgraded to this 2021 BMW that he's heading back out. The M2 CS Racing, a car they got from Holland. And that is heading back out into the race. So still going, but obviously time lost in that stop. But here's our Class B leader, about to put the lap down. Ed Christie's at BMW, who's the poster boy for the live stream today. And Tidmarsh round the outside of the S, is not wasting any time. Continuing to push on, looking for that 3rd class win of the season. Here's a 19, which is Wayne Lawson, the 52-year-old from Lincolnshire. Very experienced track day goer, but he's going racing for the first time this year. He's a wheelchair user, uses hand controls. It's a 2010 spec Audi TT, and this is one of the cars that had been taken over by Motorsport in recent months. And I think Wayne was saying that the car, I think, was ready to be scrapped, but Motorsport said we can get that back running, and that's absolutely what they've done. He had the best run at Silverstone he's had in that car, and things going okay here. Running in 6th position within Class B in the early stages. A car that he will share with James Pickford, the former Seat Cupra champion from 20 years ago. If you can believe it was that long ago.
Scary thoughts that was that long ago. So we are working lap 15 for the leader. Just the news from Mike came that he fell out of first time quality, but not time.
There's Darren Bull, who's dropped to 4th. He's dropped quite a long way back from Dylan Brichter, 7.5 seconds. So he's perhaps starting to pace himself now. Trying to keep those front tyres in order. All these front cars are front-wheel drive cars, aren't they? The Audi TTs, I think, are, and all the TTR cars are. The best rear-wheel drive car is SICK, which is Paul Simonsen's BMW M4. But the battle for second is still on between Simon Major and Dylan Brichter. They've been nose to tail, I think, really since the start. See that gap they pulled out on Darren Bull, which is pretty substantial. They have a car to that, which is the car which started by Toby Partridge, I think. Louis Woodward in that one as well. They are 4th in Class B, so they've almost lapped the majority of the Class B cars. Doesn't get a quarter of the way in.
3 or 4 minutes away, about 5 minutes actually away from the pit lane window being open. The drivers do relatively early stops. It's just the 1 mandatory 3-minute stop in this race, rather than 2 mandatory 1-minute stops that we have for the 6 trophy race. A little bit earlier on.
Gillespie's just done a PB, 1 minute 40.7, which is about the 5th fastest lap of the race, I think, in the Volkswagen. So some cars still improving, while others are fading away. Not Darren Bull, he's fading a couple of seconds away from his personal best. Volkswagen Sirocco here, 183. Stephen Cook began it. It's 8th in Class B. It is something like 6th in the Club Cup, but it's battling for 23rd in the race with Matthew Stenning's Honda. And both about to be lapped by the battle at 9th, which has changed on this lap. David Blackie's E92 M3 has gone past Jamie Hadley's Golf, so a change for 9th in the race by the looks of it. And they will come out the final corner. You can see the BMW ahead of the Volkswagen. That's the battle for 9th, lapping the battle for 23rd in the race at this stage.
Yeah. Battles all the way down, of course. So parking lot 1 leading the way from 18, so second. Audi from Cupra, then it's Dylan Brichter, another Audi, number 6 in 3rd place, number 25 for Cupra, Darren Bull is 4th. Continue Cupra of Rick Krause 5th, Unum 55 in 6th place, Paul Simpson. 7th, the number 24, Mark Norman, 8th, the number 17 Audi of Stockford. Right, using 28, that's the Black 12 seconds, the number 2 is the invitation class car for John Hadley. Class B being led by number 8, Matthew Titmarsh, by about 5.7 seconds from school number 83. Class C, 195 for lead there, they've got all the races so far this season, much more. He is well clear of Matthew Stelling, second place. So a reminder that classes in Club Enduro best power to weight ratio of the race is set as 8 for 3 horsepower. That's B, 1 is 2, 40, C is 180 horsepower. So, as we now this battle continuing on between the partner Sirocco.
Also, just a reminder to people of a question on the streaming comment to see what the Club Cup means. And each car was built before 2010, and not related to the driving, related to the cars. So for the older cars that do not have a sequential gearbox, or have a manual gearbox, that's what the Club Cup works for. And that's the one championship yet to be decided.
Yes, and that could be cars from the class as well.
don't think any A cars are fitted into that this weekend, but we have seen others in the past. There have been lots of different winners in the Club Cup. Will Passagill and Ryan Bentley have won a couple of times. Ashmore and Sam Denson and Croft, Sandra Ballesteros and Bobby Trundley won at Silverstone, and Michael Downey won at Oldham Park. The only car to have won more than once is the one that actually leads that race at the moment.
Although it's like different driver line, wasn't it? So Chris Nyland joining Will Passagill. Ryan Bentley engaged elsewhere this weekend, former Stock Cars champion.
David Blackie then pulling away from Jamie Hadley. He's up to 9th. He started 18th, so first outing for that E92 M3 is going well. A 42.5 the best laps, over a second quicker than they went in qualifying. Then problems yesterday, they seem to get up to speed now. And quickly catching Matthew Stockford, and you can see that on your screen now. So Matthew Stockford coming under threat from David Blackie by the looks of things. Stockford, the former Paralympian medalist. David Blackie in his Club Enduro debut. It's been a consistent season for Stockford. He's had a couple of 4th positions as his best. There's the E92 M3. It's a much larger car than the older models. It's great to have an E92 back out. Luke Sajakowski took a win, I think, in the E92 a number of seasons ago. It's good to have another back again. Running there in 9th position at this stage, and sharing that car with Josh Lawton, the former Road Sports race winner, racing his Civic in Classic Touring Car Thunderstorms this year. But back in the 750 Motor Club paddock for the first time this season. Problems yesterday, we're going to see the car out today.
So it's the 28's car of Blackie. From the hill, past Michael down there, 6-6. Boxer, which Josh mentioned, was successful in the Club Cup. That was an aim for Michael to try and win the Club Cup this season. He's going to manage it. He's had at least one win. Stopped racing in 2018, inspired by his father racing for him. So this is now his 7th season of racing in the Club Enduro Championship. He travelled down from Scotland to do so. Financial services. So pit window is open. I don't think we've had anyone yet making a scheduled stop.
No.
A few unscheduled stops at the time of screen, but none of that are expected at this stage.
Depending on the fuel tank size, doesn't it usually? You don't want to pit when you can't get to the end of the race. So teams will have that all pre-planned when the earliest that they can realistically pit, and then you decide whether that's going to work out for your race. Generally, it's better to pit early on the whole. So Blackie's caught Stockford then. The Audi RS3, a great looking car this, but Audi really in almost all forms of motorsport being faded out. As Audi Customer Racing sort of being closed down to facilitate the more free programme. One of the cars that came out of that programme. Such a successful programme, the Audi Customer Sports cars, particularly the R8, which they made so many of one, so many GT races with, but where most manufacturers getting involved in sports car racing, Audi's sort of going away unusually. It's great to have that car in this championship and running well. Change for second in the race. Dylan Brichter has finally, after many laps of trying, got past Simon Major. So the Audis are first and second. We did hear yesterday Scott Parkin tell Matt Sutcliffe that part of the aim of this weekend is to get a Darkside Development 1-2 in the Class A Championship. Coming into this weekend, Brichter and Ryan Parkin were 5 points ahead of Andy Schultz and Matthew Hampson, and a point ahead of Darren Ball. So whether they will feel it necessary to do any team tactics, or whether, obviously as it is, I think that's all good for Ryan Parkin and Dylan Brichter to take the championship. First car into the pit lane, by the way, Ian, is Claire Norman. She will hand over to Alan Blenker.
Yes, with stabilising this space. Left to go. 3 minutes, which is about 2 laps or so, isn't it? The station was 4 laps in the pit stop. Everyone out of the car as the fuel goes in.
So Claire Norman started this, the double British Women Racing Drivers Club Award winner. It's a 2018 Cupra. It's a Gen 1 car that Alan Blenko Racing purchased at the beginning of the year, and Alan Blenko will get into it. The driver started racing with the 750 Motor Club back in 1999, returning a quarter of a century later. He finished 4th in Stock Catch that year before, just 3 years later, ended up in the British Touring Car Championship.
Was that the first year of Stock Catch as well, 1999? The Stock Catch was created first. I think it was first about 1997. Stock Catch a bit later on.
But that was right. That's the Victor car from my plan, Scott Hunt. I had another car close to that. Side by side for what is now 7th place with the pit stop for Claire Norman. Matthew Stockford has David Lucky going through. They're about to lap the provisional champions. The car driven by Ash Moore. Lucky goes a bit wide, but I think he's got this position done. His progress is really good. I don't think they're going to get any further in this first stint. It'll be interesting to see what Josh Lawton can do in the second half. He was really quick in that supercharged Civic that he raced previously. His first outing in the championship in this car. There is Claire Norman giving perhaps last minute advice to Alan Blenko, helping with the driver change as well. As Scott Parkin set another record lap. The Ancient got gone fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 39.146.
Yep, so he's getting away out in front. It's Claire Norman helping Alan Blenko back end. You can see the minimum weight sticker there. That says that Collins is 1,193 kilograms for the amount of power it puts out to qualify for the class it puts in, which is Class A, which is up to 300 horsepower per tonne. So the equation is worked out. We know how much power it puts out, so that we know what as a minimum it needs to weigh. Now we've just got to wait for the 3 minutes to be on.
Claire Norman, the daughter of Charles Tippett, long time racing driver. It's a great racing family that they've raced together in the past as well, haven't they, in historic cars. But in this car, probably the most powerful car Claire has raced. It's very different to the BMW, classic BMW that she races. Sort of returning to her front-wheel drive roots that she when she raced in the Volkswagen racing car. And Alan Blenko, probably the most powerful car he's raced too, because it was a production class he raced in the British Touring Car Championship, which has significantly less power than the Cupra does. There is Brichter then. He's not getting away from Simon Major since passing him. They're both, though, best part 20 seconds ahead of Darren Ball, who of course was ahead of them in the early stages.
Yes, Paul has dropped away certainly quite a bit. I think it's Colin Gillespie in the shot here. He's got the black BMW ahead of him. So this is Gillespie back inside the top 10 now. He's in 8th position. We have that pit stop early on when we show the black and orange mechanical warning flag. But he's not far away from the 7th place here, I don't think. We'll have a look into McLean's to see if he can do it there. He can't. These guys both in Class A, of course.
Gillespie is averaging basically the same lap times as Darren Ball, to within a tenth of a second. And he goes through into Coppice to grab 7th away from David Blackie. Quite an unusual moment for David Blackie, because he's been gaining places all the way through this stint, but the first time he loses one, that's the car due to the unscheduled pit stop that Gillespie had early on. He's got good pace in that Exwell Beach Volkswagen Golf. It's raced in the TTDI UK Championship this year, but I think Gillespie having his first run out in it in the ECU Club Enduro Championship this weekend. Just about 8 TCR cars in this race, and some TCR UK races, I think.
Yes, certainly are. Is is Gillespie on the Lotus. There's the Michael Downey car into the pit lane. There you can see the fuel going in.
This is just the second car to have made a scheduled stop in.
Yeah, and you can see the wheel covered. Less any fuel will be spilled there. Extinguisher on hand as well. Here's Gillespie again, having cleared BMW. This one up again. 15 Golf, it looks menacing, looks very good. 197 car then is the WG Mike Rayner Lotus.
Running fifth in Class B since going well.
It is, yeah, in 18th place over Rayner since the start of that car. Lucky now, there's a bit of luck on this one in 28 BMW.
Team Lexman's only pulled away from Lucky as you might expect. So they turn up towards Coppice. You've got Matthew Stockford in 9th, and he's being chased by Jamie Hadley down the back straight towards the S's. Stockford in 78, Alan James jumping into that halfway. Alan Blenco's getting on with things. Up the curve, full touring car style. Passing two cars in the process. Alan in 47 from Wiltshire. He was the Ford Fiesta Winter Series champion in 2000. Before he raced an Alfa Romeo in the British Touring Car Championship. This is a 2018 Cupra run by his team, Alan Blenco Racing. Said earlier, purchased just this year. And over the course of the season, they've had a best result of 4th. I wonder if they could replicate that or perhaps go a little bit better. After their pit stop are in 24th position, and Blenco immediately does a PB at 141.5, which is a good first effort for Blenco. So he's got good pace. He qualified that car in 6th. Let's see what else he might be able to do.
There's the 28 car's gone through. There is that Stockford car. That's still in 9th place. Number 4 and 9th as well. Being chased by that Invitation Plus car, so it's not scoring points. The number 2 car, Jamie Hadley, Volkswagen Golf.
I've seen some Hadley in road sports before, so perhaps this is a little dip into seeing what he thinks of these 2-hour races in the sight of next year. I think road sports he did run in Class B, but perhaps that car's been slightly upgraded from there. He doesn't have to run to the power to weight ratio to get into a class in the invitational division. We'll see how he enjoys himself, whether we see more of him next season.
Yes, we would hope to see any of these drivers team back for next year. Club Enduro has been well supported again this year. Road Sports, the 45-minute driving field, has been even more supported this season as Club Enduro. I'm sure we'll be looking these cars out. It's an attractive format to our racing for what's actually a mix of different race days. We've had 1 3-hour race, we've had some 75-minute races, we've had a 100-minute race as well. So I don't think
it's series are, aren't they? It mixes them up immediately. The same strategy in every race. Had some 1 and 2 pit stop races. Sure, ideas for next year already in the plan. We had our first trip to Brands Hatch Free Circuit this year as well. Then Mike Rayner. He is 11 seconds ahead of Wayne Lawson, who just had a personal best of 147.8. This Lotus is 3rd in the Club Cup as well, isn't it? Behind Will Buttergill and Mark Grice. So it's running nicely. And actually the Club Cup leader is just getting the black and white driving standards flag. Is Will Buttergill, who's really pumped clear of Mark Grice. He's only 11 seconds behind Matthew Tinmarter. I wonder if Will Buttergill and Chris Nyland are looking to go out with a Class B win. They haven't got any success compensation times on net, they're in the sort of the advantageous place in Class B.
Yes, so that could certainly work out in their favour as this race goes on. We've not really seen the success compensation results come into play yet, have we? There's a number of teams that do have to serve them.
Class A 30 for Scott Parkin, 20 for Dylan Brichter, 10 for Darren Ball. So that's going to drop the Brichter and Parkin car down, isn't it? Or Scott Parkin, talking about his 30 seconds, is about to be served now. But yeah, this could all mix up the Class A order, I think.
Yes, it's basically a 3.5 minute stop then for Scott Parkin. He's not stopped at 45, he's stopped at pretty much 90 degrees into the pit lane there, but that should be absolutely fine. He's obviously climbing out of the car as is required while the refuelling is done.
Remember to take the radio cord out. Is that twin brother Ryan perhaps getting some images for the social media?
Yeah, lots of a big social media presence for Darkside development, so do check out their social channels.
Big support of Burkitt Relay as well, coming up in a couple of weeks' time.
That's right. It's 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks' time now for the Burkitt Relay.
There's the new leader then, which is Dylan Brichter in the slightly less powerful teammate car. So obviously Ryan's not getting into it just yet, is he? If he's doing other duties down there in the pit lane. 4 seconds clear of Simon Major, but with that 20 seconds to serve in the pit lane, it's going to drop this car, number 6, down the order a little bit, certainly behind the Major and Middleton machine. Scott Parkin was only at 20 seconds ahead, wasn't he? So that's why he had to push on so hard, and he might have to continue to push on if he's going to stay ahead of the Simon Major Cupra.
Oh, and there's a car, that's the Matthew Stelling Civic FN2 that's off into the gravel at the old hairpin. He's trying to get it going. There's damage to the back of one of the MX-5s as well. Is that the
Simonite car?
It is the 169 car. James Mansell it was that started that. So whether there's any connection between those two things, I'm not quite sure. Don't know if that car's still in the gravel trap or if it's managed to get out. No, it is still in the gravel trap by the looks of it. The stunning car that's down there at the old hairpin. So you would think if that stays there for much longer, then we know what's going to happen, and that's going to be a caution period, and that could signal some changes. As there's the Browse car we just see going through there. The marshals are on the scene trying to help get that stunning car out of the gravel trap though, Josh.
Wayne Lawson has pitted. I wonder in sort of response to what might come next. So James Pickford will get aboard that car, the former BTCC podium finisher, race winner in Carrera Cup, raced in the FIA GT3 Championship in the early years as well, did James Pickford. Podium finisher there. He will take over from Wayne Lawson, who started.
So the 169 car has continued on. It's not called at the pits to get something done with that bumper, but that would just be tearing it off, would probably be the most straightforward thing to do at this stage. Still number 1 car stationary, but of course it's a 3.5 minute stop that he's serving. Scott back into the car now.
Safety car. Yeah,
safety car is coming out. That's not a surprise with the Stelling Honda off in the gravel trap at the old hairpin. Team counting down to get that car back into the race.
I suspect this hasn't worked terribly badly for Scott Parkin, has it? Because they'll be able to join on the back of the queue, and a few seconds of his race as I don't know what's happened to Louis Woodward's car here. Is there a red light? That might not work so well for Scott Parkin if there's a red light at the end of the pit lane.
Yes.
Because the safety car wants to get out,
but
there's a car in the way at the moment.
Yeah. So the safety car is now getting past the number 87 car.
Yeah, Scott Parkin is being held, so this is a drama for our previous race winner. The red lights are on at the end of the pit lane while we get the safety car out in a safe place. So for Scott Parkin, he will have to wait, and for the Toby Partridge Louis Woodward pit stop, that car is waiting. We've already seen that. So that's a twist that we weren't expecting.
The 169 car, which is the MX-5 with the bumper dragging, that's now getting the mechanical warning flag. That will need to come in, as I say, to either get the bumper sort of lashed up or taken off the car. So we've got the safety car waiting at the end of the pit lane to pick up, presumably try and pick up the leading car, which is going to be Dylan Brichter's car.
This is actually going very badly. I think they've got parking, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
And for Louis Woodward and Toby Partridge, who were in contention in Class B. For Wayne Lawson and James Pickford, though, this pit stop, the moment not being compromised for them. The other drivers, well, you'd think would be going a little bit slower out on the circuit because they're in a full course yellow period. So it's the luck of the draw, isn't it? If you pit, the safety car comes out. Sometimes you win, other times you lose.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got 71 minutes left of this race. There is the Dylan Brichter car that's just come out of the final corner. Now the safety car has to dash out to try and pick it up.
Of course, this will bring Colin Gillespie back into contention. He was about a minute behind. And this isn't good news really for the success compensation time for the Brichter parking pairing and the others who have got time to serve as well.
Two cars at the end of the pit lane are just being released now, but they've been sitting there for a couple of minutes.
And how perfect is that part for James Pickford, because his pit stop's just been done and he's heading out onto the circuit. James Pickford, who will be a bronze ranked driver from next year by the FIA. Perhaps see him out in the racing series because of that. Safety car brought everyone under control. Sometimes the safety car can break up the class battles. Don't think that's been a particular situation this time round. Tidmarsh was ahead of Puttigill and Grice in Class B. Class C we had through a much larger lead for Ashmore. Second was Ethan Simmons. Third was Thomas Stedman. Stedman and Hooper have had a good few races in that car lately on the podium in Class C. Tom Stedman at the wheel at the moment, only in his second season.
The 197 Lotus has been waved through. Mike Rayner, who was 16th overall, 4th in Class B. That'll be waved through to the back of the queue, but then it's Dylan Brichter behind. The 169 car, now that has come in, but they won't be able to make this mandatory stop.
Got a chunk out the bumper, hasn't it?
I think that's been running on the exhaust, so
yes.
it's just melted the bumper there. That's what's gone on.
Makes a lot of sense. My brain was suddenly thinking, what caused that? But yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
But now they've only got half the official sticker that they're required to run the Club Enduro sticker. It's been burned through.
So they turn this in. No, they can't turn this into.
No, they can't, because the safety car's out. It says you cannot take a mandatory stop with the safety car. With the safety car out on track.
But they shouldn't actually lose any time really because of this, will they? I don't think they're going to lose a lap.
It'll just be their position in the queue, really.
Unless they get a red light, of course.
Which is not impossible.
Alan Blenko, he's basically a lap ahead of Scott Parkin after the pit stops.
Yes, of course, he was the earliest of the cars to stop, really, wasn't he?
Did this really come into their favour, I wonder?
So the Stelling car's now been released back onto the circuit with the help of the snatch vehicle.
So once that's behind
just a few other cars by the looks of it.
Normally takes about a lap, doesn't it, to get the snatch vehicle back, and then we should be good to go. I think we've got 9 cars on the lead lap. So William Lynch is the first car a lap down. The first 4 Class B cars are on the lead lap. Tidmarsh, Puttigill, Grice, Rayner. That means 3 in the Common Cup on the lead lap, Puttigill, Grice, Rayner. And then in Class C, Ethan Simmons still on the same lap as Ashmore. So that's still 2 up for grabs. But yes, it looks like Alan Blenko is right at the back of the queue, isn't he, I reckon, which means you gain the most time.
Yes.
And they weren't more than a minute really behind earlier, so this could, and Alan's proved in those early laps he's quick.
There's a car coming into the pit lane there.
Louis Woodward.
Yes, okay, that's the car that was at the end of the pit lane, wasn't it? So, just wondering if that's going to go straight to the end of the pit lane, into the garage, and what's going on there.
This car, a ex-Nürburgring VLN car, I think, M2, for M235i. So it's like the earlier cars compared to the car that you can see Class A from Rob Fennick.
Yes, that was the car that was at the end of the pit lane when the safety car was waiting to get out, if you remember. So safety car is still out there. Will it be possibly at the end of this lap? Usually we see the safety car lights switch off around the time it goes on to the Melbourne loop.
Of course, when cars have their pit stop, some of them get fans put into them, don't they? When they're sitting in the pit lane, that's not a possibility.
No.
Whether that's been a problem, I don't know. 2 cars in between the 2 Class B leaders for the restart, Matthew Tidmarsh and William Puttergill. Their best lap's about 4 tenths apart. So that's going to be a battle that goes all the way, I suspect. Though, of course, the genetics can play 30 seconds to serve, so that could make it difficult for Chris Webster in the second half to retain that lead. The Class A battle could really be mixed up too, with Dylan Brichter, Ryan Parkin having to serve 20 seconds. Darren Ball has 10 seconds to serve. So that's really could go in the favour of Justin Middleton, who will take over from Simon Major. The Browse family can come into contention too.
Safety car lights are out then, so it will pull in at the end of this lap. We've got 65 minutes, which should be less than 65 minutes of racing left to go, so we're nearly halfway through this race. The Louis Woodward car was stuck in gear, so the reason that was to come in.
I think it did reset the electronics and the way it's gone again.
So it's Dylan Brichter in number 6 that's going to lead them up to the line to restart the race. The Lotus has pulled off in the background, the 197 car of Mike Ray, so Daniel Jude's not going to get a go, I don't think, but the race is getting back underway then, green flag wave, with 64.5 minutes of the race left to go. And it is Parkin then that is leading from Simon Major. Dylan Brichter that's leading from Simon Major by half a second as this race gets back underway. Darren Ball, number 25, is third. Luke Browse, number 22, is in fourth position. Colin Gillespie up to fifth. That really has worked out well for him. He's now only 14 seconds behind the lead, despite having made that unscheduled stop earlier on in the 55 car. Paul Simpson in sixth, but with Mike Rayner out of the car, is something going to need to be done about that.
It's a long way off the circuit on the back straight. It would be a long way from Marshall's. It's a shame, that guy was fourth in Class B. Rob Fennick came into the pits behind the safety car. Not sure that can count as a scheduled stop. Well, they're trying to take it as a scheduled stop. I thought we had this discussion. Well, in 116 trophy race, I think it can't come in when the safety car comes in. I'm sure what the case is with Club Enduro. Anyway, battle on for the lead. Dylan Brichter versus Simon Major. And we're going safety car. So the safety car is going to be called before anyone can pit. Yellow flags are out, and Simon Major was drawn alongside Dylan Brichter there as they went out of shot. But is this pit stop legal for Rob Fennick or not?
To confirm, it says, for the avoidance of doubt, there's an underlined letters that are highlighted in the final briefing notes of this meeting. For the avoidance of doubt, teams may not follow the safety car into the pit lane in order to make a mandatory stop. As the safety car period does not officially end until all cars have crossed the start and finish line.
And what's the penalty?
Now you'll have to turn to a different page for that and see if that is specified on that. But it's effectively going to be stopping outside of the pit window, isn't it? Effectively. 5-lap deduction, I think, applied at the end of the race. Unless they make another 3-minute stop, which will probably negate that.
That would be more beneficial from there.
Well, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Because it depended if it was a time penalty more a lap penalty.
Yeah,
Lap penalties are, yeah, as you say, more significant.
So we hadn't had very much racing when the safety car came back out. Just less than a lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, I imagine they thought the best idea is safety car it, so no one gets an advantage. But then we can go again once that car's brought into a place of safety. And that's brought the two Class B leaders together there in your shot.
Yeah, so the marshal and the driver together pushing that car out. It was already a long way off, but if they can get it up towards the barriers, then I think we'll be good to go. There's not too many marshals out that part of the circuit on the straight, because that's not where you're expecting quite so many incidents. Obviously some kind of technical issue with the car there, but it's good up against the barriers, so I would have thought they'd be reasonably happy with that now.
Nice light car, hopefully.
Yes, exactly. There's some of them on the grid today.
I think so many Lotuses this year. Have we had good success in the past? Joe Taylor won the Class A Championship in a lease a few years ago.
There's a recovery vehicle heading down there as well.
Going away early, recovery to be done.
So just try and tow that away.
Rain pops over the barriers. 10%, so yeah, we're going to get a lap or two more.
Yeah, so they don't get that completely cleared off the circuit by the looks of things.
So Blanco is 2 laps down here. You were reckoning a pit stop takes about 2 laps.
I would have thought so. So
Yeah.
3 minutes plus in and out, that's going to be 3.5 minutes, isn't it, roughly?
It's going to put them right in contention, I reckon. For a pairing that only joined the championship this year. Had some struggles, I think, earlier in the season, but going better recently and could be going even better today if it carries on as it stands.
So we're now into the second half of the race. It's number 6, Dylan Brichter, and Ryan Parkin leading. Number 18, Simon Major, Justin Middleton in second. 25, Darren Ball in third. 22, Luke and Paul Browse are fourth. 15, Colin Gillespie is fifth. 55, Paul Simpson, Stanton in sixth. 7th, number 28, David Blackie and Josh Lawton. Then in 8th place, number 78, Matthew Stockford, Alan James. 9th, number 2, Jeremy Hanley. 10th, number 176. Which is William Lynch. Class B is being led by Matthew Tidmarsh, Chris Webster in 12th position overall, car number 8 from 83, Wilbur Gill and Christopher Nyland. 3rd place in that class is number 27, Mark Rice. Class C is being led by number 195, Ashmore and Sam Dennis in 15th position overall, and 16th place overall. Second class E is 19th overall, which is Ethan Simmons, number 9, and then third in Class C is the Thomas Stedman, Michael Hooper, treble 3, Mazda MX-5 in 21st overall. The Lotus has now been pulled onto basically the national circuit, the national circuit that we're not using this weekend, and so therefore we should be good to go racing again just as soon as the safety car is next back round.
As we're now into the second half, I wonder if we're seeing quite a lot of stops. Obviously not immediately after the safety car comes in, but not long afterwards. The rescue vehicles can go away. Well, hopefully that can be done before this safety car lap is completed. I think all three, well certainly classes A and B, very much to play for. Of course, Moore and Dennis are going to have a longer stop. They are quite a bit quicker, but Ethan Simmons, they could get a result out of these first go in this TTDI Club Enduro Championship for 9. So he's going solo today. There's the Class B leader, but with a success penalty, which is going to make it difficult for Chris Webster in the second half to get a third win. But with Scott Parkin losing that extra lap, second in the overall championship, still up for grabs there between the Ginetta and the Audi drivers. That's an interesting battle to watch for as well in the Clubman Cup, but the championship battle is Buttigill is a lap ahead of Ashmore There he is, 183. The Class B second place, the Club and Cup leader, Will Puttergill.
So safety car lights are out. The race is about to get underway then, with 56.5 minutes or so to go by the time they get to the timing line. Dylan Richter parking leading, and a reminder that drivers cannot follow the safety car into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Cannot count as a mandatory stop, so they have to do at least one more lap before they can make their pit stop, which many of them I think will probably do, because there's now less than half of the race to go. The race gets back underway, 34 laps now in the book. Dylan Richter leading, Simon Major in second place. Going for the lead around the outside is Simon Major, and Dylan Richter's half spinning, and he's off on the grass now on the inside of the circuit, and his twin brother is going to take track position from him, although he's a couple of laps down. But it's Dylan Richter then, the twin brother has the co-driver Ryan Parkin, but now that car is way back down the queue of cars that's coming down down towards the old hairpin.
I reckon there was a touch before, because there was a bit of bodywork that went, and then obviously you had that contact. Scott Parkin's aim here is to get a lap back, and he is on the inside, because if there is another safety car period, that would work well. Two more cars have come into the pit lane when they shouldn't have done. David Blackie was one, Mark Greiser was the other. So that's two contenders for class victories in trouble, I think. But Scott Parkin, while things aren't going well for the other Darkside car, better for them because they have got a lap back, which could become important later. But it is Simon Major, the new race leader, in that dramatic restart as he got past Dylan Richter, who then had a moment. And with the better pit stop time expected for the Cupra, they're 18 on the rivals. Could be interesting. Scott Parkin can't get away here, can he, at this stage of Major?
Well, he's just going to get his head down now. Probably quite a few other cars are going to make their way into the pits. Let's see if any of these cars do. Well, some of Major's staying out, and Darren Ball is staying out there as well.
Richter's in.
Richter is in, probably the right thing to do, having been off the road as well on the previous lap. Just gives a chance to just check the car over as well.
William Lynch is in. Will Puttergill is in. Colin Gillespie is in. So Puttergill, the Club and Cup leader, in. So that's important. How much damage, or is it more grass that's the problem here for the Audi?
There's some in the wheels, and making sure it's not going to cause any overheating issues anywhere. That's the concern. Having been off the road.
Sorry, what was looking for could have been a 1-2 for Darkside today. It's less likely than what it looked earlier in the race.
Well, yeah, it might be the case that we can get neither of them in first or second, having looked like a very strong possibility. Certainly before Scott Parkin's pit stop.
Another car, by the way, that pitted when the safety car came in was Tim Parsons in the Caterham. Had four cars that presumed to be under investigation. We've got a battle for the lead because Darren Ball has caught 1.2 seconds to Simon Major. So was that touch? Has that caused a problem for Major's Cupra, I wonder? Parkin getting away, and Darren Ball, who was struggling really before the safety car came out, got a new lease of life. He's got a race win book, could be on the cards. He does have to serve a slightly longer pit stop of 10 seconds compared to the car he is racing with. But he's going to give this a go in to lead before he comes into the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, nice little scrap going on here between the two Cupras. Out of the final corner they go, up to the timing line, and there's just under a quarter of a second between them. Luke Browse in third position is gaining on them as well. He's just in a personal best lap of the race. It's in a 1:40.560, was 0.6 of a second faster than Darren Ball that time, so he's going to try and buy into this as well. He'll hand over to his father Paul for the second stage of the race.
Matthew Hampson has come in. He was a lap down though, I think, wasn't he? He'll hand over to Andy Schultz a bit quicker in that car, I'd imagine. Other cars that have come in, Matthew Stockford in the Audi. So we thought quite a lot of pit stops going through, but we've still got the top 5 leading cars on the lead lap yet to pit. And this great battle between these Cupras up front of Simon Major and Darren Ball. Darren Ball's another driver who's raced a lot of different cars in this championship over the years.
Yeah, he's raced BMWs, Porsches, some others that I can't remember in the Club Enduro Championship. And he stuck that in.
I think so, yeah.
I think he did. Initially, quite a few years ago now.
This car's been driven by a few different people this year as well. Gillespie's been in it. Colin Gillespie, Alok Kingagar has driven that car too over the course of the season.
Yeah, so, and Luke Browse has taken a bit more time out of him on this lap as well, hasn't he? He's clutching Darren Ball still. He's 2.5 seconds behind at the beginning of the lap. This is the car that came in when it shouldn't have done, Josh, isn't it? The 28 car.
And one of the leaders are going to get a penalty. The 55 Paul Simerson car is going to get a 60-second stop-go penalty for overtaking before the green flag. So that's another car that's in trouble. This car, I think they've got now a bigger problem than pitting when they shouldn't have done because the wheel won't come off.
Yeah.
So that's a drama. So there's lots of dramas going on all of a sudden. The point I was going to make, I've lost now.
But it might come back to you later. That's what happens to get older, Josh. Luke Browse took another chunk of time out of Darren Ball and took another second out of him. There goes Ryan Parkin now out into the race, then in the number 6 Darkside Developments car. So we'll see where he slots in a moment. He's just on track behind the VW Scirocco.
It's come back to me. You mentioned how that Luke Browse, he's going really well in this Cooper, isn't he? They've raced that M3 in the past.
Yes.
He seems to have got the hang of the Cooper really well. And he is right there in contention.
Quite a different beast, isn't it? Switching from rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive.
I imagine the Cooper's a little bit more driver-friendly than the M3 was, but it would be a great car, that M3 they had.
Still trying to change the tyre on that 28 car with a puncture. This is the Simerson car that's in.
This is a pit stop rather than the penalty. This is an ex-Century Motorsport British GT car. Simerson broke his back last year at Spa in a Ferrari Challenge race and recovered, and now rather than racing, I think in Ferrari Challenge wants to race for a bit of fun. He's got his mate Rich Stanton who's in his first season, and they have done the full year in the TTDI Club Enduro Championship. Hopefully they've enjoyed themselves. And the M4's been running well today.
There's the Class C leading car, the 195 car, 12th place overall now, Ashmore. That's the car that has won the championship, has had a pretty much unblemished record throughout the season in Class C. Ashmore and Sam Dennis winning all of the races and getting fastest lap in all of them as well. Just couldn't quite pick up maximum points in their class at Alton Park because there weren't enough starters, but otherwise they've had a perfect scoring record.
So I reckon Alan Blenko after the stops is 30 seconds ahead of Ryan Parkin. So as Parkin had a 20-second longer stop, that's going to be pretty tight with Middleton when he takes over from Major in the Cooper that leads. The two Class B cars, you said that you thought 2 laps would be the pit stop time, and it must have been exactly that because Will Butterfield, now Chris Nyland, is exactly 2 laps behind Matthew Tidmarsh, who's yet to pit and he's trying to unlap himself. He's on the inside line into Coppice. And now it's 2 laps minus about a metre or so in. Yeah,
for the moment at least it's minus a metre. We'll see if they can close in. So I wonder when Tidmarsh is going to come in to hand over to Chris Webster. He's trying to sort of relap the number 83 Honda, but couldn't quite manage it down at the Fogarty S's. Great car of Tidmarsh. If there's a noted that point before on the car in 12th position, number 9, the Simmons car.
I think it had a black and white driving standards though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's track limits for Adrian Simmons. He hasn't pitted yet, so it can't be something that fits to it.
It's 5 seconds penalty that's been added to his time.
Gillespie's still in the pit lane. This is a long stop in the Gulf. I thought that was going to come into contention, but that's not going to happen now.
28 car now with Josh Lawton aboard back out into the race, presumably having managed to change that punctured tyre. I was wondering when this car was going to come in, and it's coming at the next possible opportunity. So Matthew Tidmarsh will come in to hand over to Chris Webster. They're up to 4th position overall. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, cars that are still running that have yet to make their pit stops now.
3 of them are major contenders, aren't they, for the overall victory? With Luke Browse in 3rd, Darren Ball 2nd, and Simon Major the leader. They're all going to be in contention with Alan Blenko and Ryan Parkin. Ethan Simmons is pitting now. And I think he had fallen about half a minute behind Ashmore. There's a lot of steam from the Ginetta, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's just heat, I think, coming off the brakes probably in particular. That car. That's the 171, that's one of the cars that's yet to make a stop, which is the E30 BMW.
It's about the oldest car on the grid.
It probably is, isn't it? 7 Osborne and Jodie Howson, 325i, 2.5 litre car for the drivers from Kent.
The car changed liveries earlier in the year. I feel like it's a picture of the car looking different.
Yeah, I think you may be right. But it looks very smart, doesn't it? Whatever. And it's nice to have some variety on this Club Enduro with lots of the more modern cars, the TCR cars, and some other cars of a similar era, but it's nice to see something a little bit different.
You can see behind Scott Parkin is charging on, trying to make up for lost time. It might be all in vain really, because there's a big gap to catch. But he's in the 39s, he's the quickest car out there. I don't think anyone else has been in the 39 all race, have they? Parkin is going to try and do similar laps to that for the rest of the duration, if he's going to make laps and positions. Here's our provisional champion. There. Oh, the steam was perhaps a bit more in from the Ginetta.
Yes, that's just like coolant. Something that's pouring out of the car, so that could prove to be a big problem for the erstwhile front runners in the class. Drivers back in the car, looks like they're going to get it back out into the race and see what happens, I guess. So it's being taken over by Chris Webster now. Christie's just been in to make his pit stop.
Yeah, Matthew Tidmarsh has just jumped in the cockpit, so he's having a chat with Chris, I think. Alan Blenko's up to 4th now, leading pit stopper. But there's our provisional championship winning car, unbeaten in Class C this year. I don't think anyone's been unbeaten in Club Enduro history. So this has been a mighty effort by Ashmore and Sam Dennis, and it just goes to show you can win this championship without having to spend a huge amount of money in Class C for the much less powerful cars. It set a new lap record again. They've done that back at Wolseley venue this year, 1 minute 47 for Ashmore, 1:47.177. That's the best lap, and that puts it a couple of seconds almost under Rowan Lundy's previous time. So Chris Webster's on his way. Is Fluid trailing the car? I don't think it is. The practice just where it was stationary.
Yeah. So fingers crossed for them. It's going to be all good to go.
Blenko's still 29 seconds ahead of Ryan Parkin, who is now in a 39 himself. So Ryan Parkin is charging on. There's Alan James, who's just got himself up ahead of Andy Shepherd in that BMW M2, which is one of the cars which we think will have an investigation overhanging their race for the pit stop. When has it got a splitter that's he just dropped down a millimetre or so. About a second in the race, he's almost overlapping as Luke Browse draws alongside Darren Ball, the two Cupras. And yeah, I think that got quite tight, and Alan Blenko is trying to unlap himself. He's got himself ahead of these two cars on that lap, I think. He's lapping, in the 41s, these are in the 42s and 3s, but Luke Browse has done it. He's got himself up ahead of Darren Ball into second place. Yes,
he has now, so that's a good effort from him.
I saw when we saw that earlier shot, Claire Norman intently watching what was going on, and that's probably what was happening, wasn't it? When Alan Blenko was trying to put a lap on the ball, unlap himself from these two cars, as it's crucial not to get caught up, is it? Because we think these cars will have a pit stop which will last about 2 laps.
Yeah, that's right. There's Gillespie still in the pits, I think. Been there for a long time now. Yes, he's dropped down to 25th on the time speeders, whereas other cars have now gone back. He's 7 laps behind. So I think probably safe to say that Gillespie's not going to feature at the sharp end here.
Right. So they're the 3 Cupras. The top 4 cars are all Cupras, aren't they, at this stage?
Yes, that's right.
Major, Ball, Browse and Blenko.
It's going to be quite an interesting race, this, isn't it?
Just waiting for these last pit stops to see how it all plays out. Darren Ball just got an extra 10 seconds for success compensation time. So that might draw him away from this battle. But where Alan Blenko plays in, that's the big question really at this stage. And he is lapping quicker than Luke Browse. He's lapping about the same time.
Browse coming in to hand over to his father Paul, we assume. To hand over anyway to his father Paul from what would become 2nd position. And Darren Ball has followed him in as well. So these 2 drives that were in 2nd and 3rd, stopping at exactly the same time. So will they go out in the order in which they arrived? We'll find out in 3 minutes or so.
The Stowmarket glass livery is a really good one. It worked well on the BMW and it works well on the Cupra too.
Yeah, and it always gets them plenty of mentions on the commentary as well, because it's just in your face, isn't it? So they get plenty of advertising.
It's a different colour to most race cars, and that's something that stands out, is always a good thing. So fuel going in. Ethan Simmons, who was going well,
is driving home, I think. He's about to leave the circuit at the Melbourne hairpin. He was, well, he got that penalty, hadn't he? A track limits penalty.
I think he was still 2nd in Class C before he pulled off.
Yeah, that's a great shame for him. More hands to the deck there, trying to get the car back out. Looks like the Class C champion and the overall champion's going back out in place. So Sam Dennis taking over.
As you might expect, after the pit stop for Matthew Kinmarsh and Chris Webster, they're half a minute behind Chris Nyland and Paul Pattergill for 30 seconds success compensation time.
Back out into the race goes Sam Dennis, just in front of Alan James, as it now is, in the Audi. 78.
Blenko, clear of the traffic, was half a second quicker than Simon Major. That could be the battle for the win yet in this. Looks like Scott Parkin's about a minute behind Ryan. So that's the chase that's going on there. He's got to pass Alan James first.
Yeah.
Battle for 10th on the screens there. Rich Stanton and Andy Schulz. I suspect Schulz will be quicker, he's much more experienced. Stanton only in his first season, the 40-year-old from Warwickshire. Schulz has been racing since 1989. Former 750 Motor Club Formula 4 champion. Right. Andy Schulz.
Back in the 90s, that would have been.
He was a Brit car champion as well. Raced in Formula 4 Z-Tech. Raced in the Brockline Endurance Series, so he's a super experienced driver. Probably the most experienced driver on this grid, I would think. And he's about to get 10th position rather, away from Rich Stanton.
Yep, so 2 similar cars there, swapping positions. And Schultz making it ground. See if he can make any more places. Possibly catch the Adley Golf, I suspect.
James Pickford's worked himself up to 3rd in Class B, I notice, but he is about a minute behind Chris Webster, so I don't think he'll get any further. His lap time is only a couple of attempts slower than the Pattergill Island Civic, so very competitive. It's James Pickford, as you might expect.
Down ball, shortly to get back out into the race. Just in the background, you just see a glimpse of the green Luke and Paul Browse car.
So where's Alan Blenko in 444?
Of course it should be, yeah, the green car, the Browse car's now gone back out into the race.
Blenko just crossed the line, so it's going to be really close.
Here comes Browse then, Paul Browse as it now is, has taken over the car.
Blenko's out of Coppets, out of the Redgate rather, so he's ahead.
So there we go, yeah, there you can just about see them in the distance.
It's going to be really close with Major and Middleton stop where Alan Blenko is.
Exactly, yeah, and obviously Darren Ball will have that extra time to serve in the pits, another 20 seconds, another 10 seconds, sorry, so that's why he's not out just yet, not quite in contention here, but we'll see if he can make up some time in the final half an hour or so.
Blenko shooting through shot there. Yeah, he's about 5 seconds or so ahead of Paul Browse.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what lap times Paul is able to do compared to Luke. Luke's best was a 1:43.515. Blanco's done a 1:41.575. I'm probably not expecting Paul to be faster than Luke. Maybe surprised by that, but that would suggest that puts Blanco in a good position.
Blanco's averaging a 41.6. Ryan Park in a 40.8. He's 27 seconds behind now. I don't think he's got enough laps, I think, to catch. So it's going to be between the Cupras for the win, I think.
Blanco's best time of 1:47.37. Luke Bass 1:45.60. But he's probably expecting Blanco to be faster of the two drivers in the main part of this race. A penalty now for the Simerson and Stanton car. That's a 5% penalty for exceeding track limits. Richard Stanton has taken over in that car there.
Those potential penalties overhanging cars, I don't think are for major positions, are they? So.
I don't think they will be, no, Josh, because but let's head down to the pit lane now. It's going to be Luke Browse who's going to speak to Marcel.
Thanks, Dean. Yeah, down here with Luke Browse, who's just jumped out the number 22 Sam. Luke, that was a fantastic stint, a long one, but you did a really good job.
Yeah, not too bad. It was all going really well, and then after about 35 minutes, the car cut out on the back straight, so it took a complete reset, but it got going, and the driver since. Obviously, safety car really saved us there. We can close back up and go again, reset. So yeah, all looking good at the moment. Trying to keep out of trouble, and yeah, all going well.
And you're running in a really good position. You're inside the top 2 or 3 at the minute.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we've come out after pit stops. Obviously, when we went D, the 444 car obviously had hit before us with new tyres, and he came back on me at a rate of knots. So I think we'll come out behind him. Yeah, we'll just see how it plans out. Really, it's difficult at this stage. We need to sort of give it 10 minutes to just everything to calm down after pit stops and see where we're actually seeing.
And I love it as well. You jumped out of the car, you got straight onto the air jacks, got the car up, changed the tyres, and it was kind of all just you lot doing it all together.
Yeah. We love endurance racing, but we're a small team, and yeah, they definitely needed new top front tyres after that front first stint. Yeah, wheel nuts were a little bit hot, but yeah, it was needed.
What do you reckon Paul can do? Where do you reckon you're going to finish?
Hopefully, he can. If we're inside the top 4 or 5, we'll be really, really happy with that. Hopefully, Paul's got fresh tyres now, so he can just maintain some standard laps, just settle in and yeah, pick up a rhythm. It's always difficult when you go out like 30 minutes to go, and everyone else has been in the car park now. So hopefully, it benefits him. He's fresh and ready to go.
Luke, great job. We'll let you get back to see how you go. Appreciate it. Take care. There we go. Luke Browse down here in the pit lane. Happy with this stint. Paul now into that number 22 machine, guys.
Thanks, Matt. Great to hear there from Luke Browse. And at the wheel now, Paul Browse. He's in the 43s on his first flyer, so not quite as quick as Alan Blenko and Simon Major, but he's doing okay. He's 8.7 seconds ahead of Darren Ball, so a podium isn't out of the question still here at all. With Ryan Barkin quicker than the pair of them in 5th place and chasing. So the win, it looks like it's going to be between Justin Middleton and Alan Blenko. Could well be advantage Blenko. I think he's lapping quicker than Simon Major. He's actually keep catching him on the road, isn't he? That's what we're launching here. The top 2 in the race, 2 laps between them, but with about a 2-lap pit stop to come for that car there, the 18 car that leads for Simon Major still. They've still got 18 minutes when he can make that pit stop. So they're hanging it out. It'll be a short stint for Justin Middleton. We'll see how much pace he has got in comparison to Alan Blenko, whether they change tyres and have a fresh tyre run to the end. We heard that from Luke Browse, how much difference that can make.
Yeah, so the only car that's still running to make a stop besides the leading car is the Osman House.
It was coming in while you were reading it off the screen.
Perfect. So there it is, heading down the pit lane now for 1:71.5. BMW into pits, respecting the pit lane speed limit, which is good to see. It's stop match pulling in outside the garage, and plenty of time feeding next to drive change.
Class C podium might not be out of the question for that car, which would be a good result if they could manage it. Looks like Tom Stenton and Mike Cooper are going to go up to second, which would be an excellent result for them. As Major sliding around on those older tyres. Alan Blanco continuing to chase the 47-year-old from Wiltshire. Looking to win a 750 Motor Club race, I think, for the first time in 25 years. That would be quite a feat. And obviously, if he manages it, that would be, I think, the first win for a female driver in the TTDI Club Enduro Championship for Claire Norman, which would be a history-making moment.
Yeah, can't think that there's been one before. So that would be an excellent result indeed.
That might help her get another British World Racing Drivers Club award, I would think.
Yeah, potentially so. Black and white driving stance flag has gone out to car number 193 now. That's the British Virtual Tim Parsons K7.
Here's Parkin, Scott Parkin. He's 6th now, 55 seconds behind his brother Ryan. He's averaging a couple of tenths of a second a lap quicker, but not a result's going to come out of this. He'll be glad that he wrapped up the championship provisionally last time out at Alton. Otherwise, that could have been more difficult. Down into the right hand of the old hairpin for last year's champion, Scott Parkin. He's passed Alan James now, 4th.
Yeah, there we go towards McLean's once again.
We're going to have a lot of cars on the lead lap, I think, in here, which is more than we've ever had before, I reckon.
Yeah, quite a few potentially.
7 or maybe 8. We'll see when it all ravels out.
Yeah, it's been a competitive race, hasn't it? And that sort of issue with the end of the pit lane, that sort of slightly messed up things for Scott Parkin. But
didn't mess up all the entertainment of the race, I don't
no,
think.
it's probably added to the entertainment of the race. It's, from our point of view, it's a neutrals. So the next car's going to lap is going to be the Patron. But we're going to head down to pit lane once again now. Matt, just taking his responsibility.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, down here with Matthew Timmarsh, who had a first stint in the Ginetta. Everything go okay, Matt?
Yeah, pretty good. Another nice trucks and fleas. And let's see if we can get that result and to win gone today. We knew we had the pace over there with the 30-second penalty in the pit stop. And then to get a good 15-second lead to get Chris a chance to catch. Then go for passing the closing stages. But then he's 30 seconds behind. So you were just talking to me about how close it might be in the overall place of the championship in seconds. Yeah, so coming into this round, we were 3rd overall, just 4 points behind Scott Parkin in the Darkside Audi. And I jokingly said to Scott before the race, if we win and we play the set fastest lap and you come second and don't set fastest lap, we'll beat you. He nodded his head and then said something to us, so good. So as things are at the moment, if I've got the maths right, Chris has been saying we've got the fastest lap in Class B. Scott's got the fastest lap in Class A, which is in 6. So we're picking that point. If Scott can catch the car in front of him 50 seconds up the road, he would be equal to the point as well. So fingers crossed we don't have any more safety cars.
You're keeping a really keen eye on it, aren't you, with what's going on in that class and also what's going on in yours, but at the minute it looks quite good for you.
Yeah, at the moment it looks good, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Good stuff. Thanks for your time, Matt.
Cheers, thank you.
There we go, Matthew Timmarsh down here in the pit lane, doing all the maths for you, Ian, so you don't have to do it yourself.
That's very good of him, isn't it? But I've still got the spreadsheet, and we'll keep that running. Probably when we get into all the pit stops done, it's worth just trying to slot some points into that spreadsheet just to see how everything is going to work out. There is the car of the driver which talking to, which is actually. There is the race leader on track. That's the some major clients that are just to Middleton. Probably quite soon. Maybe even this lap. I'm just talking to blue orange just disappeared over the hill.
Just a short glimpse there of Paul Browse, who's now 5.7 seconds ahead of Darren Ball. And on the last lap was quicker than Alan Blenko, was Paul Browse. So like son Luke, probably enjoying this car. Blenko now caught up behind behind Simon Major, who's still to hand that one over, as you were saying, Ian. And he has pulled out generally more over Paul Browse, a gap 12 seconds. Darren Boyer, the quickest of all at the moment in the 41s. It's 4.3 seconds behind Paul Browse. So the podium position's really up for contention, because there, Ryan Parkin's only a further 8 seconds behind Darren Ball. See, there's some comments in the chat about these Darkside cars and saying how good they've developed these diesel machines. They're not really doing any pollution, are they, out the back, unlike diesel race cars traditionally have done. So these two cars fantastically developed. They're really quick cars, and Darkside Development's a great partner as well as the 750 Motor Club in promoting a lot of the championships events as well.
Absolutely, yes. We used to have a few diesel cars in the VW code. Several of them used to sort of spew sort of plenty of black smoke out of the back of the van as well. Different vans that VW come as well over the years. I don't think there was a van yes in Club Enduro.
We had the old Joel Flock car was bought, and it had a big crash in Roadsport in Silverstone, I think on its first outing, and I think it was pretty destroyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we never had one in Club Enduro. Never really had any estates or anything like that, I don't think so.
Any estates these days, do you?
Not since '94.
No. 25 minutes or so to go. Simon Major's got only about 10 minutes to go before you have to make the stop. Pit window closes.
Darren Ball on a charge around the outside of the traffic, and he's almost caught Paul Browse. That gap was 4 seconds at the start of the lap.
It's 7/10 now, isn't it?
I wonder if Paul Browse got a bit caught up in lapping Andy Shepherd's BMW in 8th position there, and that's really brought Darren Ball back to him. The battle for 3rd place and in the race. The Browse family, I don't think they've had a podium before, have they, in TTDI Club Enduro Championship? They've had some decent results this year though. Just lapping the MX-5. Darren Ball, he's been on the podium before. He'd like to be on the podium again. He was 3rd, wasn't he, last time out at Alton Park?
And also at Brands earlier on in the year on the Grand Prix circuit as well.
So he's in the chase, but it truly isn't he? They're 16 seconds behind Alan Blenko now. So I think the race win is out of the question. It's Ball hopping over the curbs out McLean. Browse defending. And if you defend too much, Ryan Parkin can close. He's only 8 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's going to just appear any moment over the crest of the hill. Don't quite stay blinking long enough on that shot to see that, but he should be in the background shortly, down towards the S as they come. Fogarty S is going past the stunning Honda.
Car was skittering around on the brakes, Darren Ball. So, looks like we have ABS in the ABS there, and it was sliding around on the brakes. And now around the outside into the Melbourne hairpin comes Darren Ball in the Williams Motor Company liveried car. That liveried car's now in the championship. And he's still trying to make a way past Paul Browse on the outside. Browse all over the curb. The Caterham's ahead of Richard Mitchell, who's going to feel very small in a moment. There's two Cooper that made contact, I'm afraid. And Richard Mitchell's got caught up in that, no fault of his own. Paul Browse's car's in the wall. Darren Ball has carried on. Ryan Parkin's obviously going to join in, but well, I feared it could get a bit tight for Richard Mitchell. I don't think we were expecting that. There is Mark Bryce's car has come into the pit lane in a plume of smoke. What a drama. It's very much on at the moment.
It's all happening right underneath us as well, because the Paul Browse car has come to a stop only about 50 yards away from our commentary position, if that. Darren Ball did continue, but he may well have picked up damage to his car. But yes, it's a shame that has ended that way.
If the safety car isn't called before Major gets to the pit lane, which Blenko will be hoping it will be, well, can he make his pit stop as well if the safety car does get called before the window closes?
I don't know what the rules are on that, and I'm not sure that the bold underlined text on these instructions is explicit about what happens there.
Not been called yet. If it doesn't, before they get there, this will be a major advantage. I know safety car is out, but it's not on our screens, bizarrely. No. The safety car is on the circuit.
Yeah, but yeah, it's now showing on the screens and on the lighting panel. So safety car is out. So Simon Major is just too far away to really be able to pit this time. He cannot legitimately according to the laws of the race, pit this time and he stays out. And he's got to gamble on this being cleared in 7 and a bit minutes.
Well, less than that, because he can't pit the lap the safety car comes in.
Exactly. I'm not quite sure what the rules are now. What's happening years ago?
This is always the problem if you go pit too late in a safety car period. So the safety car is out as you would expect. We have that incident on the start of the finish line.
Yes, so the medical coach as well having to seem to just check over the drivers who I think are still in their cars at the moment of the Caterham and the Browse Cooper.
Oh, Richard Mitchell's given a thumbs up to the marshal, I can see, so that's good news.
I imagine that both probably have, which is why the marshals were standing aside. The rescue vehicle, MSV rescue vehicle, is now arriving on the scene as well. It's a bit of a smoky pit lane after the Grice car came in. So we've got medical cars stopped on the start and finish straight as well. We've got 20 minutes of the race left to go. Safety car has picked up the 83 car, which is the car that is leading in Class B of Chris Nyland now at the wheel of that car.
Richard Mitchell climbing out of his car, so he's okay, which is good news for Richard. That would have been a bit of a surprising moment for him and the car.
Yes.
The car that weighs a couple of times the Mitchell does.
Yeah.
And that car is due to be out the Burke in the Caterham, hopefully, because I know Richard Mitchell put together a team for that.
It's crossed that back out in a couple of weeks' time, so the queue forming up behind the Renault Megane safety car here at Donington Park in this TTDI Club Enduro Championship race. Both drivers now out of their cars, which is good news. So the question now is how quickly these cars can be recovered. There's 20 minutes of the race left to go.
The same car's not going to be in for another lap done before 15 minutes to go, is it?
No.
Sure. So I don't know get some confirmation of what might happen in regards to that pit stop. We haven't had anything from the others that pitted the lap the safety car came in, have we? Which we thought in the Club Cup, by the way, and the Class B and C leaders are both motorsport cars, so what a day they are having. What is the point difference there between those two? Coming in on drop scores, that was 2, wasn't it? So Puttigill's car is the one in favour.
So if this car can't make a stop, he's going to get a 5-lap penalty, isn't it? I think.
We think that.
Based on the reading of the rules. I mean, I'm just going to message you now to see if we can tell me the ruling on that.
Giles might be able to help out with that. Potentially busy and a bit late. So Darren Ball, on the screen now, has moved on to 3rd. Ryan Parkin is 4th. Scott Parkin is 5th. And Alan James is 6th. So I reckon we're going to get 5 cars on the lead lap in the end. The other thing that hasn't happened yet is getting the leader behind the safety car.
Yeah, well, how far?
Oh, so then we will have 6 cars on the lead lap because Alan James will be there, I think. So that, if we get 6 cars on the lead lap, that's an impressive number, I think.
It is. So 18.5 minutes of the race left to go. We're in a safety car here in the TTDI Club Enduro Championship. After the screen together between Darren Ball and Paul Browse as the cars exited the Conrad Airport, came on to the start and finish straight, the lead-off straight, and talked to Paul Browse Cooper heading off into the barriers, also collecting on the way Caterham of Richard Mitchell. So both of those cars, Mitchell and Paul Browse, are stranded on the grass on the side of the circuit just beyond the start line. The medical car and the rescue vehicle, those have both disappeared now, probably just taking the drivers to the medical centre for checks, as would be normal in those situations. So it's now about the recovery of the cars. I don't think there's any sort of barrier damage or anything like that to worry about, because it was effectively hit the concrete wall.
Yeah, I think it was too much, is it?
So
I'm not sure if that's the mark on the wall there. We can see.
I don't think I saw that mark earlier. That may be well Paul Brow's car hit.
Perhaps it's a bit of a bigger hit than I first thought. Probably better that went into the concrete wall than the cage.
Yeah. Right, the snatch vehicle is here. I think that's going to try and deal with the Paul Brow's car first. The marshals are trying to malhandle the caterham out of the way. Right way around. Because that probably is physically possible.
So if we have 15 minutes to go, I think TSL will put into the system the penalties, won't they? I think. So hopefully it'll become obvious before the race is finished. Well, Justin Middleton, hope he hasn't put too much of a budget towards his programme because he hasn't done much driving. If he's going to drive at all in this race.
It's looking a little bit unlikely now, isn't it, as to what might happen.
But I don't really know why you would leave your pit stop so late, because there's always this risk that there could be a safety car period.
Yeah. I think the word is that we think it probably would be a five lap penalty for not making a stop. Because yes, there is always the risk, isn't there, that if you leave it too late. So although what it effectively means is that although the window closes 15 minutes from the end of the race, you probably always have to build in a little bit of a comfort blanket there, don't you? Just for safety.
There's no real need to leave your pit stop so late.
No.
And strategically, as we've seen from Alan Blencoe and Claire Norman, it's always better to stop earlier in these races. I don't think there's any strategical gain from pitting late. So
we can rule that car out of contention, I think, now.
It's what can Ryan Parkin do on the restart, and possibly Scott too, although he's got a lot more lap cars between them, because they are both quick. They are quicker than the Cupras in their Audis. They've been in the 139. It depends how many racing laps we get.
They've got the cager up against the barrier, and they seem to be happy to leave that there. And they are still dragging away the Cupra of Paul Brow's. Just a pit lane window normally closes in about 20 seconds time.
Warming up the t-shirts here at Donington Park.
I've got a fleece on here, right inside. And now there is a recovery vehicle heading towards the caterham, I think, so possibly they're parked it legally, and now they'll try and drag that out of the way as well. With the assistance of the MSV pickup truck.
Window closed, confirmation on our screens, and the race leader has not pitted. So that's Matt, I think it's garage 36 where the team are playing. But, might be down there and seeing what sort of reaction they have.
Yeah, so that's going to be so we've got treble 4 cars to effectively then which is Blanco, taking it from Ben Norman, down ball 25. Second, Dylan Richter, and now Ryan Parkin will be third, Scott Parkin will be fourth, Alan James, Matthew Stockford will be fifth. And was that the car just been down the pit lane? Was that yes, it was. The major car has just come into the pit, so it's A, done it behind the safety car, and B, done it outside the pit window. Is that a 10 lap penalty? I don't know, but. Yes, in 6th place it's Stockford and James, 7th it's Fenwick and Shepherd, 8th it's Hampson and Schultz, 9th it's Hadley, 10th it's Simerson and Stanton, Class B being led by Puttergill and Nyland from Tidmarsh and Webster and Lawson and Pickford, Class C being led by, Moore and Dennis from Sedley and Hooper, and Osman and Hampson, BMW E30 series. So
on average in this stint, Blenco's done a 41.6, Paul's done a 41.5, Brian Parkin's done a 41.0, Scott Parkin's done a 40.4. So the top 4, who will be the top 4 in this race, and we've got the 5 lap penalties coming in now for 10, 27, 28 and 193. But yeah, my point is the top 4 in the race here, Ian, they are in reverse order of their pace in this stint. So this race isn't over yet, assuming we do get to the race back underway, of course.
Yeah, and those 5 lap penalties for people that made their stops by following the safety car in when, on the 2 occasions, it was out in the middle of the race.
We've still got the penalty to be awarded for our leader, haven't we?
Yeah.
They might as well just do this pit stop as quick as they can, really, mightn't they?
Yes. I mean, probably a little bit better not to have made it at all if they could have got to the end, I suppose.
Well, unless Justin Middleton wants to do some driving.
Not very much driving. But
What's
anyway.
the clause in the contract? So, assuming Chris Nylon gets way through, that will give them a big advantage over Janetta, won't it? If it doesn't get way through, we've got a Class B battle. Because I know some endurance championships, the rules is just pick up a class leader, because that's what we've got here, is a class leader. They're still doing the 3 minutes, so they're not trying to break every rule in the book.
No, anyway, it's a bit of a shame because they've gone really well, and had that safety car not happened, they would have been with a real chance, I think, of if not winning, then certainly being in the top 3.
Missed out on the battle between Justin Middleton and Alan Blenko, which we were expecting, but we might have a different battle instead between Alan Blenko, Darren Ball, Ryan Parkin and Scott Parkin.
It's just a question of how much racing we're going to get, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
With 11.5 minutes left to go. Oh, checking the time. Checking that they've done 3 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, someone says in the pit lane. So anyway, pushing the car back out into the race. And they will rejoin with 11 minutes left to go. Safety car still out. I think the circuit is now clear as far as I can tell from my commentary box window. You can't see anything else out there.
Are we going to wave the cars through to get Alan Blenko behind the safety car, I wonder?
Can't see what's going on there. Oh, and now Middleton's being left there at the end of the pit lane. So the cars are heading, I think the lead car's heading down the Melbourne loop at the moment. Soon see whether we're going to get a wave through or not. Safety car lights are still out. We've got 2 lap penalty from having their engine running in the pit stop, so that's a rule we hadn't thought about.
Are there any rules in this pit stop rule book that they haven't through?
Oh, right, they've done the wave through because they go.
But Alan Blenko's been waived.
Ah.
That has not gone well for the race.
Well, and that's because that was the leading car. The 18 car was still the leader on the timing screen. Major and Middleton.
But Darren Balding behind the safety car, he hasn't been waved through.
Okay, right, this is not going well. So there's the Middleton car as it now is. That is continuing on its way.
They've got now a 5-lap penalty.
5-lap penalty. So is that 7 laps?
Yeah.
Did I say might not have been joking about that 10 laps earlier on. So the safety car has now picked up Darren Ball in the 25 car, which is the car that will normally be in second place once all of the penalties have been applied.
So this race of the win might have just not going to be happening now, is it?
Yes.
And hopefully Alan Blenko was being waved through and he didn't go past anyway.
Yes, yes. I mean, just, who knows? We didn't see it happen.
No, fingers crossed that didn't happen.
So, anyone's guess what's going to happen here in the remaining 9 minutes of this Takiwa Club Enduro Championship race here at Donington Park.
I presume you agree that William Potter and Chris Nyler are on for the Club Championship.
I'll get the spreadsheet out. I probably can do that now. I've got a minute or two. So how many points are they going to pick?
15, at least, maybe 16.
Let's assume 15 for Nyland and Pottergill. What do we think?
12.
Well, Dennis, they're going to get 12. Nothing for 1 for Trumpian and Biostales. And Hayes and Simeone the same. So yeah, I would go for that by a point. Yeah, I think they'll get the Club Cup.
So what are we doing then about the rest of the race is the next question. The signal lights are still on. We're not looking to wave anybody else through seemingly. So on the road, Justin Middleton is the leader. He's got a load of penalty. And Blenko is second. And Darren Ball in third is the guy behind the safety car.
Yeah.
I think it would be much easier just to keep the Class B leader behind the safety car.
With the benefit of hindsight, yes, wonderful thing.
But nothing wrong with that really. The safety car lights are out. And I suspect that race so for Alan Blenko for Claire Norman, Alan's just now got to drive sensibly, hasn't he? No risk on this restart, just drive around for a few laps.
Yeah. So, safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap with 7.5 minutes of the race left to go. It's being led effectively now by the Trouble 4 car of Alan Blenko. 25 for Darren Hall will be in second place, and
What this
Ryan Parker in third.
What it does mean, Ian, is Chris Snyder versus Chris Webster's on for the Class B leagues. They both got way through, so more than just Alan Blenko got way through in that. So the Class B lead battle is on, and obviously for second place in the race is on because Ryan Parkin is chasing after Darren Ball with 4 laps, I think, of the race to go.
Yeah, so 4 laps, and that's about right, isn't it? Safety car has come in. Darren Ball then is the first car going past all of these green flags. He's got Ryan Parkin now chasing after him. So this is the battle for second place then. If Ryan Parkin can close in over these remaining 4 laps of the race, down through the cradle curves and towards the old hairpin they will go. And then it is going to be Scott Parkin, isn't it, that will be in 4th position. Lots of blue flags as well, because lots of back marks to be overtaken by quicker cars as the restart takes place. So up towards McLean's they go, and Coppy's corner. Parkin not, catching Ball at a rate of knots here, certainly, but he might well have a chance to do so in the remaining 3.5 laps.
There are more penalties. It's time for Fenwick and Shepherd. They'd already got 5, hadn't they?
Yes.
But this is another rule that's been broken. This time the driver in the car on refill. The last one, the other car was the engine on, wasn't it? So I think some people have forgotten the rules in the last round of the championship. But these people have been doing the championship really all season, so they should know the rules.
Very strange. Down into the Melbourne hairpin go the second and third place cars, Darren Ball and Richter. Alan Blenko has been across the line to complete his 57th lap, and the next 2 are about to come through. Black and white driving standards flag Scouts car 169, that's the Simonite Mansell MX-5. They had a black and orange flag early on, so they're collecting flags during the course of this race. So as they come across the line with probably 3 laps to go now, it's still showing as Middleton leading on the screen, of course. But they have got that penalty, so it's Blenko who is basically 2/3 of a lap ahead of Darren Ball, having been sort of released by the safety car mistakenly, we think. And it's Ryan Parkin in 3rd place, 2.4 seconds behind, and then Scott Parkin 4th, 12.4 seconds behind his twin.
For Class B, Chris Webster is 2.6 seconds behind Chris Snyder, was half a second quicker on that lap. Chase is on in Class B.
Yeah, so that's that could change around. Here's Scott Parkin going past the 55 car, which is a lap down. One of several cars to have penalties. There's the race leader going through 444, which is Blenko. Now the thing is, I suppose the check flag still is going to get shown here to Justin Middleton, isn't it?
Although on the lap normally before, then the lap penalties get applied on the screen, so we could get the point where we forget which car needs a checkered flag. Who knows?
It's all going to be a very confusing finish to this TTDI Club Enduro Championship. Just as well the championship was resolved at Alton Park in the last meeting, really. It's not all come down to this.
It's a shame, it's been a good race, really, hasn't it? There's the leader on the road, just ahead of Alan James, who is 6th at the moment, but will be a top 5 finish with that penalty that will be applied to Justin Middleton. And by the looks of things, if the race had run naturally, Alan Blenko's got quite a lot more pace than Justin Middleton. He closed in by a number of seconds on that previous lap. Here he is, looking for they haven't had a podium, have they? Claire Norman and Alan Blenko, but the race win looks on here with a couple or so laps to go for the 444 car.
Yeah, so they've crossed the line with 3 minutes and change remaining, so it is going to be 2 more laps to go, isn't it, for Alan Blenko, we think. There's the orange Porsche with down, it's just been lapped by Blenko.
Sam Dennis, who was 2nd in the Club and Cup, dropped to 4th because Ed Cook in the Sirocco for a good result, up to second in the Club and Downey, who you just mentioned, up to third. Sam Dennis has dropped to fourth in the Club and Cup, which is even more proof that William Putkill, Chris Nyland and Ryan Bentley will be Club and Cup champions this year.
I think if everybody won the overall championship though, then you're not too worried about the Club and Cup, are you, really? So, let's race.
They were putting on their social medias that was one of the things they were looking for, to see if they can take everything. Well, Motorsport are going to win a lot, aren't they? Because they will get both. Alan Blenko has got himself ahead of Justin Middleton then and onto the lead lap as the timing screen show, but we know that the penalties are coming for the 18 machine. So we're going to have one more lap to go at the end of this. And this will be fourth different winning car this year. Scott Parkin has had those 3 wins. Grant Hatch, Snetterton and Alton Park. James Collins and Joel Oswald won the opener at Croft, and Ryan Parkin and Dylan Brichter won at Silverstone. So despite the Cupra has been one of the most numerous cars in Class A, they haven't actually won any races this season. Not sure if they've won a race since we had Cole Swift in one. So go back to days of a few seasons ago. Other cars are quicker, but the Cupras are reliable and more numerous. So Adam Blenko on to the final lap of the season. I think despite how the restart went, this was the car that was on course to take the victory, wasn't it? Alan Blenko's taking no risk now, his lap times are much higher than they were. But it's going to be a deserving win. Claire Norton drove well in the first stint, didn't she? Kept the car in contention and they got the right strategy. They were the guys that came in before the before the safety cars come out, made an early stop. They know that's a strategical call to make, and then Alan Blenko pushed on, kept the car in contention, and then it's been there when it matters, and he has half a lap to go. We're not sure what car's going to get the checkered flag in all of this, so they might have another lap to go at the end of this if it is waved to the 18 machine. But history going to be made for the first female winner of a TTDI World Club Enduro race with Claire Norman, and Alan Blenko taking his first win in a 750 Motor Club race, we think, for 25 years when he raced in Stockhatch.
Darren Ball and Ryan Parkin have just got across the line, still separated by about 2.4 seconds. They lapped to within 6 1,000ths of a second of one another on the last lap. They are going to be the cars that we think are going to be classified second and third here. Alan Blenko, as the clock now counts down to 0, emerges from the Goddard's hairpin. The Melbourne hairpin heads up towards Goddard's, as I say. Now, is he going to see the checkered flag this time or not? Round Goddard he goes. Are we going to get a checkered flag, or are we going to get one more lap? He's flashing his lights, and the checkered flag is not. Yes, it is shown. Yes, it's shown on our type of screen.
But it got shown to the 18 car. And Blenko has to do another lap, although he'd be classified anyway, won't he? Because you don't not get classified.
Yes.
So slightly weird end there to the season.
Yeah, so it is. It did get shown to the 18 car, but that penalty has now been applied to it. So when he actually does get back round to take the checkered flag, it will be the treble 4 car. Now, the way he was flashing his lights did make it think that he was taking it that time.
So it might be worth to do another lap, although I don't think it'll make a difference to the result, will it? Because you don't have to finish in endurance race to be classified.
Exactly. No, typically nice to do that though. But so we've not yet had any of the front runners actually take the checkered flag yet, which is rather bizarre.
We have had William Putkill and Chris Nyland through though to win Class B for the 3rd time this season, the 1st time for Chris Nyland, but the Clubman Cup title for that car. But here's about a second here.
Yeah, and it's coming over the line now. It's going to be Darren Ball that takes 2nd place. Gap came down by about a second on the last lap to 1.4 seconds between Ball and Ryan Parkin. So they take 2nd and 3rd. It's going to be Scott Parkin across the line of 4th. So a 3-4, not quite the 1-2 that Darkside Developments were hoping for here. Screen. So the result which I'll go for TSL top screen is 4-4-4. Norman and Blenko, the winners from number 25 Darren Ball in 2nd place. In 3rd place was number 6 Dylan Brichter and Ryan Parkin. 4th place to number 1 Scott Parkin. 5th to number